Let's review current contracts for the San Jose Sharks. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Sharks Latest. I'm your host, Jimmy, here to bring you everything regarding your favorite hockey team. If you can't get enough San Jose Sharks, you gotta hit that subscribe button below and be part of the Sharks Latest family. Don't forget the notification bell as well. Happy Friday, everybody. We're going to wrap up this week going over the San Jose Sharks' current contracts, where they stand with players and where their contracts expire, who we can expect coming back for next season, maybe based off of that. Also, wrap up with a projection of where the Sharks will be salary cap wise going into the off season before re-signing any of their players on expiring contracts. Got all my information from Spotrac and Puckpedia in case anybody wants to go and check out any of the information I'm giving you today. Going to start here with the forwards. That's where we do have most of the bodies and most of the contracts for the San Jose Sharks. Looks like according to what they were representing me on Spotrac and Puckpedia, they gave me basically the dollar value from greatest to least. We went in that order from what the San Jose Sharks player was making this past season. So we're going to start off here with the forwards with Logan Couture, believe it or not. A name that maybe some of you were not really expecting me to bring up here, but nonetheless, he is an individual that is, well, putting some money on the Sharks' books still at this moment, even though he's not suiting up for the San Jose Sharks. Quick little rundown on Logan. Obviously, he is one of the greatest Sharks, of all time, if you want to call him that. He's earned his right to continue getting this contract, but he had a pretty significant injury and chose not to retire, which I believe would have taken this money off of the Sharks' books. But the San Jose Sharks are nice enough to rock with that $8 million. Logan Couture is a great individual that has invested a lot of his efforts, his time, blood, sweat, and tears into the San Jose Sharks. And so he's earned the right to gain this $8 million per season, which was on the Sharks' books this past season and will be this upcoming next season in 26-27 as well. He's earned it, y'all. Look, the Sharks are still going to be really good in their cap space, so don't get too upset about this. I think it's admirable what the San Jose Sharks are doing, that they're able to contribute and help pay one of their players that, once again, is one of their most well-known players in recent history. So that's $8 million on the Sharks' books for next season with Logan Couture. And then we go to our highest paid player from last season, at least from the forward perspective, and that was Tyler Toffoli. So Tyler Toffoli still has 3 years left on his contract, was making $6 million in last season. Same thing, $6 million per season. Signed through the 2028-29 season, so you better believe Tyler Toffoli will return next year. Alex Wenberg, same thing. He made $5 million this past season, will be going into his contract extension, which was a 3-year contract extension. He'll be making $6 million AAV, just like Tyler Toffoli. His contract runs through the 2028-2029 season. And then we go to Barclay Goodrow, who, believe it or not, was making one of the most expensive contracts for the San Jose Sharks on the forward side of things last season. On that fourth line, Goody got $3.6 million. He was in his bag last season, and he will be this upcoming season as well, making another $3.6 million. This will be the final year of his contract going into the 2026-2027 season. Then those $3.6 million comes off the books for Goody unless we choose to re-sign him. Adam Gaudette's in the same boat, but Adam Gaudette we got on a value of a deal, if you will, because Adam Gaudette, same thing. His contract expires after this upcoming season, so he will be with us next season, but only making $2 million per season. So he made $2 million last season. He'll be making $2 million in this upcoming season. You better believe Adam Gaudette's going to be back on that fourth line. Then we get to Kiefer Sherwood. who last season made less money than both Adam Gaudette and Barclay Goodrow. But we signed him to a 4-year contract extension. He is getting ready to get himself a nice, hefty pay raise. Good for you, Mr. Kiefer Sherwood. He made $1.5 million this past season with the Sharks. Got a 4-year contract extension. Jumping up starting next season, his AAV will be $5.75 million. Hats off to you, buddy. And that is the longest contract that the San Jose Sharks currently have. Extends and runs through the 2029-2030 season. So Kiefer Sherwood, he's got some more growing to go as a San Jose Shark before he can really earn that contract. But best believe he's going to do that next season for the San Jose Sharks. And then we get to Ty Dellandrea, who was a bench role player for the San Jose Sharks. Had some injuries, so it's a little hard to grade him, of course, but he made $1.3 million last season. We'll get a little bit of that raise coming up in next season with $1.6 million. His contract runs through the 27-28 season, so he'll be getting paid $1.6 million next season and the year after that. Unless the San Jose Sharks decide to move on from him for some reason, which I wouldn't be too shocked if they did. But at the same time, because he is a nice, cheap contract on the books and a body out there that knows the system a little bit, I do expect him to come back potentially as that bench player. Then we'll get into a group of the youngsters who are on the ELC contracts, right? Macklin Celebrini. $975,000 this last season. We'll make the same thing next season as he is in the final contract of his ELC. Same thing goes for Will Smith. Will Smith made $950K last season. He's in the last year of his ELC in this next season as well, so you better believe Macklin and Will Smith are both up for their contract extensions. Can happen as early as this summer, and will probably happen hopefully sooner rather than later. But nonetheless, just like the rest of these rookies, or I should say the youngsters on the ELC contracts, they're all going to be RFAs when they're wrapped up. So best believe none of these players are going anywhere, y'all. Neither do they want to go anywhere. So that's how Celebrini and Will Smith are shaking out. Then we get to Igor Chernyshov and Michael Misa. They're both in their first year of their ELCs this past season, so they get one extra year still on the cheap contract. Michael Misa, $975K, just like Macklin, except for his ELC runs through the 2027-2028 season. Then you'll see him, become an RFA if we don't have that contract extension in place. The season after that, Igor's in the same boat, except for he's making $934K per season. But he does have 2 years left on his ELC before he becomes that RFA in 2028-2029. So sitting good there. Someone else that's on the last year of their ELC before they get a humongous giant pay increase, and once again, hats off to you for earning that. That's William Eklund. Eklund made $863,000 last season. This is the biggest price jump for any of the San Jose Sharks. Starting next season, because we signed him to a 3-year contract extension, he will be making $5.6 million for each of the next 3 seasons. Another contract that he's going to have to earn. And I hope he does, and I highly expect him to earn that as well. So hats off to you, Eki, for getting that great pay raise and earning that, buddy. Then we get to Ryan Reeves. And so the next bit of the forwards are all going to be the same thing. These are all forwards that played with the Sharks last season, but their contracts are now expired, whether they're RFAs or not. The San Jose Sharks do have to re-sign these individuals if they want them back with Team Teal. Ryan Reeves is number one. That's one that we all expect him to come back, even GMMG in his exit interview talked about already having discussions with Ryan Reeves coming back for the San Jose Sharks. You just can't put the value on what he did off the ice. Not much of a contributor on the ice anymore, but gosh, he is such a great mentor and leader for the young Cats, and only at a $1.3 million contract this past season. I expect him re-upping with something similar like that on a one-year deal to come back to this team next season. But we also have Philip Kurashev, who he had $1.2 million being paid this past season. Now he's going to be an RFA if the San Jose Sharks decide they'd like to bring him back. Next is Colin Graff, who is coming off of his cheap contract as an undrafted rookie, making $961,000 this past season. He's an RFA and somebody that I fully expect the Sharks to dang near match anything that is extended his way if he goes that far, if not already getting a contract extension with the San Jose Sharks. Another player I'd like to see back with Team Teal is Zach Ostapchuk. Only made $825,000 last season. Definitely up for a pay raise, a little bit of a bump there. But he's an RFA too, so I do expect the San Jose Sharks to bring him back. He brings that tenacity, that toughness, that fighting ability to the fourth line. So he'll probably come back on a cheaper contract too. And then we have Pavel Regenda, who made $775,000 with the Sharks. He's not an RFA. Somebody that, I'll be honest, I probably don't expect back with the San Jose Sharks, but you never know. Could be a cheap contract, a good bench player to bring back. But that's what the forwards are looking like, where the San Jose Sharks are sitting, where the contracts are, who's getting paid what, when the contracts expire, and what you can expect as far as RFAs and who we might be re-signing going into the off season. Let's get into the defense next. Obviously, not as many bodies there and not as many returning contracts there as well. But we do have Dmitry Orlov, who was the highest paid player by a good amount for the San Jose Sharks last season. Luckily, he will be returning for another season. He's someone that I identify as a pretty good bright spot for the San Jose Sharks. A stable body on the blue line. Made $6.5 million this past season. Will make $6.5 million coming up next season as well in the final year of his contract. Sam Dickinson, another player that's locked in on the blue line for the Sharks on his ELC contract. Had his first year of his ELC last season at $942,000. So the good thing there, while he's still learning, adapting, and growing, the San Jose Sharks are not having to shell out a good amount of money for him. He'll get $942,000 for each of the next two seasons, running through the 2027-2028 season. Before he does become an RFA, you expect to see a lot of him on the ice next season. Luca Cagnoni, I decided to add him in there. There's a good chance he might be chilling with the Barracuda for a lot of next season. But if the Sharks decide they can't fill their blue line with enough bodies, we do need somebody out there. Cagnoni's only making $895,000, would be in the final year of his ELC this next season, but a cheap contract that we can keep on the blue line if we want to. Then the rest of these contracts are all expired contracts, played with the Sharks last season, but if the Sharks want to bring these defensemen back, we will have to find a way to re-sign them. First up is John Klingberg. That was kind of an experimental player, bringing him in. Didn't really work the way that a lot of Sharks fans wanted it to. He made $4 million this past season. Don't really expect him coming back to the San Jose Sharks unless he takes a significant pay cut. Same goes for Nick Leddy. That was just a body that the Sharks needed to bring in. They had waived him at one point. Nobody else picked him up. So the Sharks were forced to bring him back when they needed a body. Had $4 million on the books last season, my friends. Same situation. I don't really expect him coming back to the San Jose Sharks. Next, we get into Mario Ferraro. This is somebody that a lot of us highly expect and highly want to return back here to Team Teal. He had a pretty good contract at $3.25 million this past season. GMMG expects Mario Ferraro to test free agency, and that would be a very smart move for Mario because that can absolutely drive his asking price up. So I'll be honest, we want the Mario Ferraro to take a nice team discount. Say that 10 times fast, but don't be shocked if the San Jose Sharks are dang near going to have to double that salary if they want to retain Mario Ferraro going forward. But he is an expired contract that I do expect back with the San Jose Sharks next season. Hopefully, same goes for Vinny Desharnais. He wasn't making as much this past season. He only made $2 million. I think that's a great value contract for the San Jose Sharks. You probably won't see his contract going up as much as Mario Ferraro's. So say if the Sharks were in a position where they had to choose one or another, but wanted to bring at least one of these two players back, Mario or Vinny, you might see it be Vinny if it comes down to the decision making based off of the AAV. Vinny might get himself a double in his salary as well, but, that would be somewhere around like maybe $4 million versus a potential, what I've seen out there in some projections for Mario Ferraro, $6 to $7 million AAV potentially if somebody wants to shell him out that money. But nonetheless, interested to see what happens with both of those players as they are expired contracts. The last one we have on the blue line is Shakir Mukhamadullin, another player that in the exit interview for Mike Grier, he says he absolutely expects Mukhamadullin to be back with Team Teal, but that's someone that we're going to have to re-sign. Got paid $1 million this past season. Now he's an RFA. That's the good part for the San Jose Sharks. They have the ability to go in, do some contract negotiations, but if nothing seems to work, they can kind of let Shakir go out and test free agency and hope that a team isn't really trying to shell out a whole lot of money for him so that we can match a low contract if possible. Obviously, in a perfect world, you don't get that far with a player. You'd rather have them get signed and locked in on a contract that fits both parties so that they don't have to go out and test free agency. But interested to see where we go with Shakir Mukhamadullin there. Next, we're going to get into the contracts of the goalies, which we only got 3 goalies to talk about, but one that I think some maybe casual Sharks fans won't recognize is Carey Price. Carey Price, that's a hefty contract that was on the Sharks' books this last season, but an individual that was hurt, so kind of like the Logan Couture situation, wasn't able to be on the ice, but a hefty. Remember those Glad commercials? Hefty. That's the contract for Carey Price. $10.5 million, y'all. The great thing is that was a 1 year, or I guess I should say that was the final year on that contract. So that money is off the books coming into this offseason. The San Jose Sharks can now dedicate that money to re-signing a player, can dedicate that money to going out and getting a free agent or trading for somebody with a high contract value. You love to see that. Then we'll get to Alex Nedeljkovic, who is in the last year of his contract after being traded here to San Jose, made $2.5 million this past season. Sharks signed him to a nice 2-year contract extension. Starting next season, he will be making $3 million, still a dang good value for Ned. His contract will extend through the 2027-2028 season. And then we have Yaroslav Askarov, who is going to be in the final year of his contract this upcoming season. Got paid $2 million last season. Back at it, $2 million this upcoming season. That's a value for Askey. Then he becomes an RFA. Depending on how he does, depending on how he develops and progresses, we hope and expect to see him coming back for the San Jose Sharks after his contract expires as well. And so that's the goalies right there, right? Very quick, very easy to talk about the goalies. The Sharks are in a great position. You don't really expect to see any other player being re-signed to this team next season. And so the last one that I'm going to talk about here is going to be called extras. And then I'll go over the cap space that the Sharks are projected to have going into the offseason. Well, what the heck do you mean by extras, Jimmy? I'm going to go over these quick. So you have certain things called buried contracts. You have certain things called buyouts. If a player, maybe the Sharks don't want them on the roster, but will buy out a contract so that they can go and seek other opportunities elsewhere. And then we do have what they call retained contracts, where the Sharks maybe traded a player away, but retained the contract on our end. Sometimes a team will do that just so they can get a better reward, get better draft capital in return. Hey, look, I'll send you this player with this big old contract. I'll eat the money, but now you got to give me a better draft pick in return because of that. So you saw the San Jose Sharks do that. So we'll go over, talk about Brossoit is the first one, right? So that was someone that we saw play one game with the San Jose Sharks as an emergency backup goalie. But because he did play with the Sharks, that was $2 million that was on the Sharks' books this past season. Contract is expired, though. Money comes off the books now. But Edward Vlasic, Marc-Edouard Vlasic, obviously we know him. He's a great defender for the San Jose Sharks. Hasn't played with the Sharks for a little bit now, but did have $4.67 million on the Sharks' books this past season. Will have $1.1 million on the Sharks' books this next upcoming season. So it does dip down, which is good to hear. And then we're done paying Edward Vlasic. Same goes for Martin Jones. If you remember Martin Jones, he's still getting paid $1.67 million. That's what he got paid this past season. Will be due that again next season for the San Jose Sharks. So luckily, even though we're paying some players that aren't on the roster, not a whole lot that we're having to pay those players. And then we have two retained contracts from some trades from earlier. First one's Erik Karlsson. That's a big contract that we traded away, but the Sharks did eat $1.5 million off of that contract. That is something that we took a hit for this last season, will take a hit for this next season in 26-27. Then that contract is absolutely off the Sharks' books. Last one is Tomas Hertl. Look, everyone's got their opinions on Hertl. Always respect for Hertl, but the way he demanded his leaving with the San Jose Sharks, once again, I can't be too upset about it. But this is a contract that it's not a whole lot per year, $1.38 million, but we owe Hertl this money every year through the 2029-2030 season. And that is literally lining up with our longest extended contract currently, Kiefer Sherwood. His contract also runs through that. So that kind of puts it in perspective. We'll be paying Hertl the same amount of time we're paying Kiefer Sherwood for his contract, but Hertl will not be on the ice. He'll be rocking over in Vegas as a Golden Knight, so that kind of hurts a little bit there, but that's a representation of some more money that will be on the Sharks' books this next season, some that will be coming off the Sharks' books, but players that you will not be seeing on the ice for the San Jose Sharks. And so that wraps up the contracts and where the Sharks are at. Now, here is the projection from Spotrac and Puckpedia, my friends. The Sharks, before they re-sign any of their players, of course, some of this money will have to go to re-signing some of these free agents and RFAs. But the Sharks have the second most projected cap space, my friends, going into the offseason here at $41.5 million. Did a little bit of quick math based on my projections and who I kind of think and estimate the Sharks may be re-signing. I can see the Sharks handling some of their contracts and still going into the free agency period with hopefully somewhere around $18 to $19 million so that they can still add somebody to the blue line, if not multiple bodies to that blue line. But that's what I have for you all here. Question of the day for you all. What is your favorite contract that you have heard today with the San Jose Sharks? Let me know below. What is your least favorite contract that you see here today with the San Jose Sharks? That's all I got for you all. Pretty long video today, but I appreciate you all tuning in as always. We're actually at 99 subscribers now on YouTube, my friends. One away from that big 100. I fully expect to be announcing that on Monday's video. But that's all we got for the week here, y'all. I hope you all have a fantastic Friday and an even better weekend ahead. I'm going to leave you all with the same thing I leave you all with at the end of every video. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it teal, my friends. Your boy is out. Happy Friday.